Hi, and welcome to Core Form Fitness. Today we are going to be doing an introduction to side legs. Side legs, I love them so much because they're effective for the entire leg, the glute, the hip, the hamstring, the calf. We're stretching, we're strengthening, and they're not weight bearing. So if you have any joint issues, these are a great one to always work into your routine. All you need is your mat, your intention, and your attention, and a great attitude always helps. So let's come down onto our mat. Doesn't matter which side you start on because we're going to be switching to the other leg as well. We're going to try to line ourselves up with the back of our mat. Try to keep your core engaged so your hips stay stacked. The first one we're going to do is bring our knees up so they're about 90 from our hips and our feet are about 90 from our knees. Your hand can be here for a helper of stabilization, but not a doer. So try to keep that shoulder away from the ear. We're going to take our breath and we're just going to slowly raise the knee up for 1, 2, 3, and down, 2, 3. And that's it. So while this might seem really easy, we're starting to activate all of our glute muscles, which are so important. I remember reading an article last year. We're going to be doing 10. I'm going to try not to lose count. This is 5. The article I read last year was in the New York Times called the dead butt syndrome. It's called sitting too much. And so the way to avoid dead butt syndrome is to activate your glutes. This is what we're going to be doing here today. And you might be able to feel that they're actually, while this looks really simple and easy, it's actually really starting to fire up the glutes. And we have one more of these for 10. Look, got you through that without making it too hard. Now we're going to straighten our legs back out to the very front corner of our mat. We're also just going to lift the leg. You can flex point or leave your foot neutral, keeping it parallel so we're not turning it out yet, and lower it down. And try not to let the top leg touch the bottom leg in between. We're doing these slow because when you take the momentum out, you put the strength in. And you're, again, using these glutes. Woo! It's called the creeper. Some of my clients call this the creeper because you don't feel it happening at first. But after a few slow repetitions, you start to feel how much work you're actually doing. Just trying to raise this leg slowly and control the descent. We have 2 more of these. Again, trying to keep your core active, trying to keep those hips stacked. And we're going to do 1 more. And rest it down. You can bring it down to your bottom leg just for this moment. We're going to go into passes. So the passes are really great because they externally rotate your hip. You're going to try to keep the hips stacked. Bring that toe up to the knee. So the knee is now at an angle. Your hand can be here for stability. Again, try not to let your arm do all the work. And then we're going to raise it up and bring it down. We're going to just do 4 in each direction. So slide that toe up, rotate that knee, extend wherever you're at, and bring it down. That's 2. And slide it up and down, 3. 1 more. Then we're going to reverse the direction of our passes. These really help to open up the hips, strengthen all these tendons and ligaments, and then we're going to reverse our direction. So now we're going to bring that leg up at an angle, wherever you're at, bend it, and slide it down the leg with intention. For 4 and 3. Again, check to make sure that shoulder's not touching your face or your ear. 2 and 1 more. And we're going to go right into bicycles. I keep these in all the time because they're so great for really strengthening the ligaments around the knee and lengthening out these muscles. So we're going to flex that leg up towards our face, wherever you're at. Bend that knee. Bring that knee slightly behind your hip so it's behind the bottom leg. Bottom leg's in front for stability. And again. And we're going to do 1 more. Then we're going to reverse our bicycles up and around. And now we're going to reverse. So now we're going to try to keep that knee down, bring that heel to our glute, then bring that knee to our chest, and then extend out, getting that big hamstring stretch. And bring it back, around and through. And just 2 more of the 1-legged bicycles. Again, check to make sure that you're not overusing and compensating with your shoulder or your trapezius. And then we're going to go into a nice, effective glute exercise. So we're going to bring that knee down in front. So I call these the angled knee glutes because it's an angle. This is your knee touching down, and it's going to be working your glute. So we're going to go back at an angle. So think about it's coming way behind this bottom leg and trying not to fall over with the hips. See if you can keep those abs engaged for 2. And you're really focusing on firing up your glute to avoid dead butt syndrome or to help undo a lot of excessive sitting that we have to do in our lives today. And 4, we're going for 10. And 5, but if you only have 5 in you, that's okay. You can stop wherever you feel like you've pushed yourself to. 6, 7, we only have one more exercise after this one on this leg. 8, it helps me to enjoy them by smiling. You can try it or you can curse, whatever works best for you. A lot of people choose cursing. I'm fine with whatever as long as you're doing them correctly and you're doing them mindfully. So we're going to try to hold this leg up and extend it behind you. Again, hips are trying to stay stacked so they're not falling back. And we're going to draw little tiny circles, just 5 in each direction for 1. That glute might be on fire, which is a good thing. That means you woke it up. 3, 4, and 5. And reverse that circle. 5. See if it's really a circle. 4, 3, 2, and 1. That is all we're going to do on that leg right now. So we're going to come on up. We're going to cross that leg over. We're going to put our arm on the outside, and we're just going to give that hip a nice little stretch, which I'm sure it wants right now. Take a nice deep breath in. And when you exhale, just think about sinking into that glute. Trying to release those tight muscles. And we're going to switch our feet to the other side of the mat so you can stay facing forward. Don't face the wall. You won't see what I'm doing. So we're going to come on down. Again, we're going to place our head in our hand, get nice and comfy, but we're still going to use our abs to keep our hips stacked. And we're going to bring our knees up into that 90 degrees, pretty much 90 from our hips. We're going to try to keep the feet more or less 90 from the knees. And we're going to raise up nice and slow. So we're just starting to activate the glutes. And it probably feels really easy because the other leg is a little tired at this moment. And again, try not to let the legs touch. That means you're keeping your strength and engagement in it. If you let it just flop each time, you're really just cheating yourself. And what's the point of that? And we're going to do 5 more. Really thinking about how to wake these glutes up. And 4 more. These are pretty slow. And 3 more. Always breathe. Again, if you're using your hand, try to keep the shoulder away from the head, away from the ear, away from the neck. Almost there on these. Hopefully that glute is starting to fire and you're still trying to keep those hips stacked. And now we're going to bring it down. We're going to bring those feet back to the front corner of our mat. Our back is pretty close to the back of the mat. Core is engaged. Lift that leg up. And keeping it parallel, raise it up and raise it down. Again, you want to try to keep control here. We're aiming for 10, but if you get to 5, you get to wherever you get to. If you want to take a break and come back, that's fine. I want you to just start with whatever you can get to. And 4, but keep control. So if it starts getting really sloppy, maybe take a break, come back, drink some water. And 6, I can definitely feel all my glutes are definitely turned on. I'm trying to keep my core engaged, trying to keep my hips stacked up. And we have 3 more. Trying to not let the legs touch in between. And 2 more. And last one of these. And bring it down. So now we're going to do our passes. So we're going to externally rotate the knee. This is great for your hips. And then we're going to extend the leg up and bring it down. Again, this one's a little bit more challenging because we're trying not to roll all through the hips. We're trying to keep your core and your hips pretty stable. Of course, we're moving the hips, so it has to move some. We're just going to do 4 in each direction, really sliding that toe up to the knee, extending it up to wherever you're at. And then we're going to switch directions. So now we're going to bring that leg up at an angle. It's an external rotation. And then wherever you're at, and then you're going to bend at the knee and you're going to run it down your leg with intention. So you're really utilizing all of the muscles that work your hips, you're also, which are part of your abductors and adductors. You're working your quad, you're working your glutes. That's why I love side legs. And you're not putting stress on your joints because we're lying down. So you're not holding your weight up and moving in all different directions. So they're a great way to start your exercise routine. They're a great addition to any real heavy, intense strengthening or running or pounding, because they help to lengthen and strengthen all the ligaments. And look, we finished our passes. So now we're going to go into our bicycles. Keep those hips stacked. We're going to flex that leg up towards our face. We're going to bend the knee, keeping it down, trying not to let it fly up. And then we're going to extend behind while trying not to rotate the body forward, because then you're just moving through the back. But what we're really trying to do is move through the legs here. And that core is really getting challenged here, even though it's not our main focus. It is always working to help us stabilize, because in an ideal world, our core would always be helping us be stable, which would cause a lot less back problems and keep us more balanced in life. So now we reverse them. So now we're going to keep that knee in line with the hip, bring that heel to our glute, check the core, make sure that you're not falling forward. Bring that knee up to your chest and extend out. And so we just have to do 3 more of these. Excellent. And 2 more. And then we only have 1 more exercise after that. It's actually a 1.5 exercise combo. And so these are going to be angled knee glutes. We're going to angle our knee down, and we're going to use our glute to go up and diagonally back. And again, we're going to try not to rotate through that entire torso. We're going to try to keep that torso stable and straighten out that leg at a backward angle. And that's 3. Again, we're going for 10, but if you get to 5, 6, 7, wherever you're at, just try to do it with good form and intention. And 5. You can keep going. Try to do the same amount as you did on the other side, though, if you remember. 6 and 7 and 8. Almost there. And 9. If you need to take a break, that's fine. If you can get through it, get through it. And 10, we're going to keep that leg up. So it's still up at an angle. You're still trying to keep those hips stacked. And now with the leg extended, the knee straight, but still back at an angle, draw little circles for 1. And really try to keep them small and slow, because when you take out the momentum, you put the strength back in. And that's 5. And now you reverse it. You can flex your foot, you can point it, you can keep it neutral for 5. Feel those glutes really firing up. Nobody wants to have dead butt syndrome. When your glutes are strong, it helps to keep your low back healthy and strong. Last one. Excellent. Ooh, so short, so effective. Ha, come on up. Take a nice deep breath in. Cross the opposite arm over that leg. And exhale. Try to really sit down. Really open up that glute. Let that hip release. 1 more nice deep breath in. And exhale out. And if you want to stick around for 1 more stretch for those glutes, we're going to try to do stacked knees. This is one where I have some of my clients are so much better at it than I am. If I do not keep this one in my routine, it gets pretty difficult for me pretty quickly. Everyone has their strengths, so it's always fun to find your strength, and maybe this is yours. You try to stack your knees and I am definitely feeling this one a lot. I don't think I did this stretch this week. And so I'm going to try to take a nice deep breath in. And on my exhale, I'm going to close my eyes and try to let my body just sink into this stretch. It's a little bit challenging. So again, and if your knee is up here, that's fine too. You can also skip this or just try to see where you're at. Always breathe into your stretches. And we're going to switch. Bring that other leg on top of that. Again, it's called stacked knees. So you try to, best you can, get the knees lined up on top of each other. And you're going to take a nice deep breath in. And best you can, kind of sink into this one. Again, not my greatest stretch of all time, but I like to do it because it's very helpful and helps. I can really feel its effectiveness in especially the exterior of my hips. All right. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this introduction to side legs and you keep at it. Thank you.